What if I told you Manchester United's late collapse against Tottenham wasn't just bad luck, it was a tactical disaster waiting to happen? Before the international break, the Premier League treated us to two massive clashes. One was Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester United, and the other was the match on the 10th of November between Manchester City and Liverpool. Manchester City winning was almost a given, no need to discuss that. The only question was how slow or fast they'd play. A slower pace might have resulted in a 1-0 win, while faster play could have led to 2-0 or 3-1. As it turned out, it was 3-0. Of course, there was a corner that nearly sealed the deal, but a bit of bad luck with a blocked goalkeeper prevented it. Now let's focus on the match between Tottenham and Manchester United on 8th November. Before the match, I believed that if Manchester United played at a fast pace, they'd win. Initially, I thought it would have been a 0-2 win for United. However, I also believed that if United couldn't push the tempo, it would have been a draw. You could see the match, especially the first half, was painfully slow. It wasn't until around the 80th minute in the second half that things picked up slightly. This sluggish pace meant United couldn't extend their advantage or widen the scoreline, effectively letting Tottenham off the hook. Slow play often leads to a draw, and that's exactly what happened. During pre-match, I also believed that if United couldn't finish off Spurs, Tottenham's go-to strategy would be corners. Both teams ended up scoring from corners, but Tottenham netted theirs first. When Spurs scored from the corner, they were on an upward momentum trajectory, and the momentum shifted entirely in their favour, leading to their 2-1 lead. At that point, Richarlison was key. After Richarlison's involvement, Bryan Mbeumo took a gamble. Spurs were on a roll, but United made a last-ditch effort to push forward, nearly reaching the byline but forcing a corner instead. This moment was critical. United executed a brilliantly designed corner in the final stages. Why was this tactic so effective? I'll explain later in the video. For now, let's focus on the situation. Regardless of how well executed the corner was, United were extremely close to losing. Many argue that United's late-game struggles were due to being a man down after using all 5 substitutes and Benjamin Šeško getting injured. But Šeško's injury occurred in the 86th minute. By then, Tottenham had already equalised, and the momentum had completely shifted in their favour. Spurs were unstoppable for a stretch. United being a man down wasn't the reason Spurs capitalised. It was something happening during 11v11 play that allowed Tottenham to surge ahead. Let's dive into this match's post-match analysis, focusing on Manchester United. In the early stages of the second half, United's quick attacks still carried some weight. But strangely, as the game progressed, it became Tottenham's world, even leading to counter-attacks. What exactly happened to United in the second half? Was it related to Rúben Amorim's substitutions? What about Šeško starting as a substitute? Honestly, I don't see much wrong with that decision. Amorim probably knew Šeško wasn't in top form, or maybe even had a physical issue. Starting him could have slowed down United's first half fast-paced attacks. Bringing him on as a substitute with fresh legs made sense, and there's no harm in that. This match was highly physical, and using all 5 substitutes early, coupled with the unexpected disadvantage of being a man down, isn't something I blame Amorim for. As for switching Amad Diallo to right back, the defensive issues weren't major, as Spurs didn't target that area with aerial balls, unlike their strategy against Nottingham Forest. So I don't consider this substitution a problem. Now, on to the real issue. You might wonder if it relates to the players' mental strength in the second half. That's even harder to justify because the players didn't give up. Their mentality was strong, otherwise they wouldn't have clawed back to 2-2. But if the substitutions weren't the issue and the players' mental strength was solid, why did Spurs surge ahead to 2-1 at one point? United, operating on a single front, should have had the physical advantage. Otherwise, you wouldn't have seen United capitalise on Spurs' pressing to take the first half lead and dominate the game. Even with Spurs' flawed tactics, why couldn't United secure the win? Was it United's offensive setup? Did they fall into the trap of slow build-up play? Or was it the so-called 5-back system failing in attack? This time, the answer is no. In this match, how often did United face a packed defence? Amorim wasn't aiming for possession-based attacking play. He instructed goalkeeper Senne Lammens to use more long balls. The number of high balls played in open play significantly increased compared to the match against Forest. This shows adjustments, reflection, and improvement. Amorim at least wanted to align with the 3-4-3's need for pace, unlike the Forest match where the keeper was overly involved in ground passes and backline organisation. The fact that Lammens struggled early on with simple ball pickups, even resulting in a clearance going out for a corner, highlights his mediocre footwork. While his save stats are great, his ball-playing accuracy in Belgium wasn't up to par. Recent matches have shown his limited foot skills. Slow build-up in big games is risky, and Amorim wisely avoided it by opting for more long balls. No further mistakes followed. Using this keeper effectively meant denying Spurs any set-piece opportunities. I initially thought Spurs would capitalize on dead balls, but Lammens thwarted two great chances, including one with his foot. This is something Andre Onana couldn't have done. Additionally, Amorim's preference for pace paid off. Mbeumo's headed goal came from a quick attack. Just as Spurs pressed forward, United transitioned swiftly across the halfway line, leading to continuous crosses into the box. Everyone talks about Mbeumo's header and how Spurs' defence failed, but the crucial part was the intentional swift transition that created the fast break. As I've said before, Mbeumo struggles in slow play but excels when the tempo is high. Spurs' pressing triggered his burst, sealing the deal. You might ask, why did we still see United playing from the back and using possession-based tactics? The answer is, it was mostly an illusion. If it were genuine, you'd see the keeper involved in ground passes, but that didn't happen. The backline's ground build-up was deliberately staged to deceive Spurs, intentionally playing sideways just beyond the halfway line, dragging out Spurs' press, and then swiftly launching long balls for fast breaks. This tactic worked, resulting in goals. Spurs often pressed aggressively. They were tired. Drawing them out to waste energy was a smart move by Amorim. He didn't revert to keeper involvement. That's risky. Instead, he did it briefly, shifting possession deeper, baiting Spurs into pressing, then quickly transitioning to long balls targeting Mbeumo for quick attacks. This resembled PSG's strategy last season against Arsenal, baiting Martin Odegaard's press for fast breaks, with Nuno Mendes playing a role similar to Luke Shaw today. Whether they copied PSG or not, it was effective, deliberately drawing Spurs' press for swift long ball transitions mirrored Liverpool's tactics under Nuno Espirito Santo. These strategies suit the 3-4-3 formation perfectly. It's the best structure to handle pressing. This approach was key to United's opening goal, a well-designed tactic that deserves praise. Of course, I should note that this baiting tactic won't always work. It was effective today because Spurs were tired and fell for the trap. Against lower-tier teams like Forest, opponents might not bite, rendering the strategy useless. In such cases, you're left playing aimlessly in your own half, falling into the attacking trap. The five-back system can't sustain prolonged attacks. This is cleverness, not wisdom. But since it worked against Spurs, I'll give Amorim credit where it's due. As long as he aims for fast play and avoids getting stuck in attacking traps, I'll commend him. However, I maintain that this fast-paced approach isn't sustainable in the long run. Fatigue and injuries pile up. You can't build a dynasty over 20 years with this method. This season's single front focus should yield good results. But even with dominance today, United couldn't secure the win. Spurs, battling Champions League fatigue, were expected to drop points, but I overestimated United's capabilities. Early season injuries, coupled with reliance on physicality and single front play, will inevitably lead to fatigue and more injuries. The recent 5-game unbeaten streak might just be fleeting. Amorim loves saying good days are ahead. Perhaps they've already come, and they're fading. Some might argue that United's fitness wasn't lacking today, and instead of pressing, Amorim opted for a more conservative approach. If that's true, it reveals Amorim's pre-match setup as relatively immature and narrow-minded. Why choose caution? Probably because he perceives the opponent's quality as higher. But let's compare. Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha, Diallo. Do you think their level is lower than Brennan Johnson's? Johnson missed countless shots in the Champions League. If this were early season with Spurs' peak physicality and high-speed runs, it'd make sense. But recently Spurs haven't been able to sustain fast play. They're too tired to push forward. Spurs' current issues revolve around fatigue. If Amorim opts for caution instead of pressing in away games, it only highlights that his post-match press conference eloquence surpasses his pre-match tactical acumen. These are matters of coaching experience and talent. It may take longer for him to improve here than it will for United's players to recover physically. Amorim supporters, be patient. The only area I see United consistently improving is their corner tactics. They've finally embraced goalkeeper disruption. In the first Arsenal match, United conceded from a goalkeeper interference corner, and fans deemed it unsportsmanlike. But I say, if it's not foul play, it's fair game. Following this trend is smart. Everton, Spurs, Chelsea have all adopted it and scored from corners. United shouldn't cling to outdated principles. They should follow suit. As a result, United executed this tactic today, scoring a goal. Good tactics should be replicated. Failing to do so is foolish. Football isn't about ethics. As long as it's not foul play, it's valid. Mason Mount's goalkeeper interference prevented the keeper from timing his jump properly, aligning with the corner's essence. A curved ball to the near post at the far end of the 6-yard box. Matthijs de Ligt's run mimicked Gabriel Magalhaes' curved movement, evading markers' sightlines and leaving them unable to track the ball. Often, Gabriel finds himself free near the goal line, heading in front of the keeper. De Ligt replicated this perfectly. The entire tactic mirrored Arsenal's goal against United in the opener. Good strategies should be copied. That's how you stay competitive. Please show your support and love by commenting, liking, and subscribing to the channel.